At this moment, I want to bring our Vice President of the Hispanic College Fund, George Cushman, who's going to greet you and introduce our special guest.
Wow, this is pretty cool, huh? Had a great experience here? Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Remember last night when Daniel had his son and daughter up there, and they were asking, "What do you do, Daddy?" And he said, "I help people. My job is to help people." Well, I want to introduce somebody who has dedicated his whole life to doing just that, and to helping the people of Maryland and really for the whole United States. Senator Benjamin L. Cardin has been a national leader on health care, retirement security, the environment, and fiscal issues since coming to the Congress back in 1987. And he and I may be the only ones in this room that were around in 1987. In 2006, he was elected to the U.S. Senate, where he currently serves on the Environment and Public Works, Finance, Foreign Relations, Budget and Small Business and Entrepreneurship committees. This is a busy man. In the 112th Congress, he chairs the Water and Wildlife Subcommittee of the EPW, and he chairs the International Development and Foreign Assistance, Economic Affairs, and International Environmental Protection Subcommittee of the Foreign Relations Committee. And he took time out for you today. But it doesn't stop there. A 1967 graduate of the University of Maryland School of Law, he was first in his class. He earned his BA degree in 1964 from the University of Pittsburgh, cum laude. Holds honorary degrees from the University of Baltimore School of Law, University of Maryland at Baltimore, Baltimore Hebrew University, Goucher College, and Stevenson, formerly Villa Julie College. Please join me in welcoming U.S. Senator representing Maryland, Ben Cardin.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you for being here. I had the honor of representing the people of Maryland in the United States Senate, and I tell you what you're doing is so important to our country. I just got to share with you, this has been a remarkable couple of days. Something happened to me, I'll just share it with you, that is one of the highlights of my career. It happened within the last 2 days. And my grandchildren thought it was really neat. You might know we had a U2 concert with Bono. Bono gave me a shout out. My grandchildren were pretty impressed with that. So I'm feeling good today. But I'll tell you something, when I look at the strength of America, the reason why America really has excelled to become the great nation it is because we have embraced diversity. Diversity is our strength, our strength. So many countries around the world are so worried and so fearful of diversity. We've embraced diversity. And I think about that all the time. But I tell you, there's some troubling signs out there. In the Latino population, less than 1 out of every 2 who starts a college will complete a degree. Too many Latinos don't even start in college. Well, that's troublesome to this country. And you're doing something about it. But let me tell you what I think we need to do about it as a nation. We truly need to make education our top priority. That's our future. That's our future. President Obama is right when he talks about America. If we're going to be able to win the international competition, we have to out-educate the rest of the world. We've got to make it our #1 priority. Can't be sort of stuck down there and say, oh, we'll do what we can. And then the second thing we got to do is that we got to make college more affordable. It's too expensive in America. We got to bring down the costs. There's ways we can do it. More state support for our schools. The national level, let's increase the Pell Grants. Certainly don't cut them. We had a big fight about that in the FY11 budget. President Obama stood up and said, no, we're not going to allow that budget to be cut. The budget that passed the House would have cut Pell Grants. But we said no. We held the line. Well, we got to not only hold the line, we got to do better. and make college more affordable. And then, you know, we've got to do a better job with the STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. We don't educate enough of our students in these areas where the job growth will be in the future. Look, this is going to be a very technological, innovative society. President Obama said we have to out-educate and out-innovate the rest of the world. STEM education. And then we can't afford to leave anyone behind. We can't afford to leave anyone behind. Not only do we have to make sure that the DREAM Act becomes real in Maryland, we got to pass the National DREAM Act. We got to get that done. You know, I am so proud of what this nation can do. You know, we see the Arab Spring. We see people around the world who want democracy and freedom. They look at us and say, look, we want for our children and grandchildren what has become real in America. That dream is universal. It's not just a dream here in America. It's a universal dream. The United States can facilitate those dreams becoming real. Not too long ago, I had dinner with my great-nephew, Zach Cardin. He was graduating from high school, so I took him out for dinner. And I was telling him about one of the things I do as the Senate Chair of the Helsinki Commission, that's international human rights issues. Some things I was doing to help people halfway around the world who had no idea what I was doing to help them. And the people of Maryland have no idea what I was doing there either. And I sort of said to myself, why do I do these things? Why do I do these things? You know, people in Maryland don't know about it. And Zach Cardin made a very interesting comment. He says, you know, Uncle Ben, that's what he calls me. He says, you know why you do that? Because you're in a position that you can do that. And you can make a difference. Well, that's the same thing true about the United States. We can make a difference. We can give hope to people around the world, and that hope can become real. But it starts right here in America. Every person in this country needs to have the opportunity of this great nation. That's our goals. Our goals is to make sure people can get good jobs and can live a comfortable life, that the American dream is open to all people in this country, that we help people who are having tough times so that our entire economy can grow. So let me just talk very, very briefly about the #1 issue in Washington, this budget deficit. And I tell you, I was pleased to be here today for many reasons. First, you got me out of Washington. Any reason to get out of Washington is a good day. Thank you for doing that. But you know, people are saying we got this budget crisis, and we do. And we do. This budget crisis is real, and it affects each one of you. And we got to do something about it. But first, let's understand how we got here so we don't repeat the same mistakes. Just 10 years ago, we had a huge surplus. We didn't know what we were going to do with all the money. Then you see the last administration did some things that I disagreed with. They gave a lot of tax cuts, some of which we could not afford. We had to use a credit card to give the tax cut to very wealthy people. We went to war not in one country, but in 2 countries, and borrowed the money for those wars. One was a war of necessity, Afghanistan, because they attacked us. The other was a war of choice, Iraq, where I thought we never should have been. But we used a credit card. In fact, we gave tax cuts and went to war. First time in the history of America. So these huge deficits were created. It wasn't because we spent too much money in education. It wasn't because we spent too much money in opportunity. It's because of the reckless fiscal policies. So as we look for a solution, don't say it's going to be on the back of our most vulnerable. Don't say it's going to be on the back of our children. Let's make sure that we do it right. And to do it right, we've got to cut spending. We've got to do that. I understand it. We've got to make sure our revenues come in that we should have, got to deal with the tax loopholes. But we also got to invest in America's future. Because the best way to solve the budget deficit is to create more jobs here in America. That's the best thing we can do. We need more jobs. Too many college graduates are graduating without good choices of jobs. And by the way, you graduate with too much debt. So you have to sort of take a pragmatic answer to a job rather than do what you really could do. You might be one of the most gifted researchers, but you look at the budgets on research and you say, how am I going to pay off my bills? We've got to make sure that we invest in America's future. So when I look out at this room and I see you here, you give me great hope about America's future. Give me great hope. Here you are on a Friday, beautiful day outside, you could be doing all types of different things, but you're involved. You're involved in not just your future, but America's future. So we're going to continue to lead the world. We're going to continue to be the facilitators of democracy globally, and we're going to continue to outgrow the rest of the world because of your efforts. You give me that optimism. You give me that energy to go back and do the fights in Washington, and they are fights. It's hand-to-hand combat there to protect America's future. But I'm going to be on your side because that's where America's future will be. Once again, congratulations, and thank you for being involved in the right policies and the right future for America. Congratulations.